I represent the San Diego region, and the San Diego region is blessed by having the Navy there and many, many military personnel. And we're very blessed because many of them stay there. They retire there, but unfortunately they become victims oftentimes of financial scams. Mr. Frontman, in San Diego, in the San Diego region, we have 96% more CFPB consumer complaints filed by service members. You know that, I'm sure. Could you talk a little bit about what is happening right now and how we've helped them before and how we're not helping them right now? Because I'm getting these complaints right now from people, and they're saying they're calling, there's nobody there.
Thank you so much for the question, Congressman. I've actually visited the Marine Corps Depot training facility with Holly Petraeus. So this is critically important. You know, one of the central tasks that Congress directed the CFPB to do was look after military families. And the track record of the Bureau across administrations before the most recent change, I think, was stellar. We got back more than $200 million for military families through enforcement actions. We helped with 400,000 complaints. And what you see now is just devastating to military families. They told the people who staff the office that the Congress required, the Office of Service Member Affairs, to stop working. They broke the complaint system. So we've heard a ton today about overreach. We've heard these amorphous, vague comments about CFPB overreach. Is it overreach when the Bureau took enforcement actions against a bunch of scammers who ripped off military families, who ripped off veterans, who ripped off retirees? We've heard a lot in the abstract about the Bureau and the prior leadership, but we haven't heard specifics, because I think that is this is one example of exactly what the Bureau was tasked to do, and they're not doing right now.
The other thing that I think is very important also is to talk about elderly. You know, again, San Diego is a young town, but it's not that young. I mean, a number of us are retired. Not me, I'm not retired, for the record. But a number of people are, and there's a lot of scams, again, against elderly. And before, I got all these positive comments about how the CFPB was doing their job. Now I'm getting all these complaints because nobody's there. Could you comment about that?
That's correct. The acting director of VOTE told the Office of Older Americans to stop working. The people who submit complaints about themselves or an elderly parent or grandparent saw that system broken. So, you know, there's been a lot of charges leveled, but I think one of the things that I think we all agree on is that the CFPB needs to work. The CFPB needs to work on behalf of consumers and service members and older Americans. It needs to work on behalf of honest businesses, and it's not now. The inspectors that are supposed to take care of service members and older Americans are sitting at home instead of doing their job.
Mr. Frontman, I want this on the record because I think that I've been around long enough now that you see cycles. And the unfortunate cycles are this. We've talked about predators, and we've seen this. Oftentimes, my colleagues on the other side ultimately control government. And then you do see an overreach, all right, but by the banks and others, and we get into a financial slide. And then we get into a recession, then we get into real trouble. And then consumers, as we saw in 2008, get ripped off. So we heard today that the CFPB is the predator, that you guys are the predator, that you were the predator. Could you straighten the record out on that? And I want this on the record because I think it's going to happen again. And I want to make sure that you tell the truth. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. So, you know, we've heard a lot of attacks on CFPB leadership, but these are really attacks on dedicated public servants who wake up every single day just trying to make their neighborhood safe. So many of us who work at the CFPB lived through the financial crisis and watched community after community decimated while a bunch of billionaire bankers got off scot-free. And what we do every day at the Bureau, or what we did every day at the Bureau, was to try to make sure that doesn't happen again. What is happening now at the Bureau, where there is no oversight over massive non-banks in this country, is bad for businesses. It is bad for consumers, and they are setting up the situation that there will be another financial crisis in this country, and you all, or the people sitting in the chairs after you, will be forced to deal with it once again.
I agree. I do want to, lastly, with 10 seconds, just thank the people, the dedicated servants as the CFPB for all their hard work. Thank you. I yield back.